Let's talk about risk and safety. The City of Baytown's safety goal is to provide a safe work environment and community for the employees and citizens of the City of Baytown. As you can see listed here, almost everyone has the responsibility for safety. Let's talk about the employee responsibilities. First and foremost, you need to know your job. How can you be safe in it if you don't know it? Wear your PPE. Always use good safety practices. Refrain from any unsafe act that might endanger yourself or your fellow workers. In other words, if you have to ask yourself, it's probably inappropriate. And finally, make sure to use all safety devices. Some other things that you need to do as an employee. First and foremost, report any unsafe condition or act to your supervisor immediately. Report all accidents and incidents to your supervisor immediately. Assume responsibility for thoughtlessness and deliberate acts that can cause injury. Abide by all policies, procedures, rules, and everything else associated with the safety program. Never operate equipment that you're unfamiliar with or not trained to use. And whenever possible, attend the monthly safety meetings. Each department will have a department safety representative, and this person's responsibility is to ensure that monthly safety meetings are being conducted, documented, and attended. In fact, they should maintain attendance record for the department members and ensure all employees attend either their department monthly safety meeting, an alternate department safety meeting, or complete a self-study assignment. This department safety representative is also to ensure that monthly facility inspections or job site inspections are being conducted and documented. As you can see, we strive to achieve a 100% department or division safety participation. Let's talk a little bit about emergency conditions. As an employee, you're considered essential employees and as a part of the city's emergency response team to provide services in the course and scope of your employment. All city employees may be required to work immediately before, during, or immediately following an emergency or disaster. Directors may release employees based on the incident. When it comes to return to duty, employees are required to return to work at the start of their next normal shift. The return to duty info line is 281-420-5820. If an employee cannot return to work, every effort must be made to contact their supervisor before the start of their next shift. The next segment we'll discuss is risk management. Risk management's mission is to provide the City of Baytown programs and services including insurance, safety, and employee health and wellness. Risk management focuses on the prevention of injuries, loss of property, and the protection of assets. So what do you do if there's an accident or incident on the job? An injured or exposed worker is to report the incident immediately to your supervisor. You may be seen by the city physician at the wellness center. In a medical emergency, seek care at the nearest emergency facility, then follow up with the city physician. The risk manager will work with the employee if needed in cases of modified duty due to an injury. And finally, the risk manager will also provide instructions to the employee on the return to work process. What does the supervisor do? The supervisor is responsible for notifying the risk manager immediately. They are also responsible for completing and submitting the supervisor accident report, the SAR, within 24 hours. The supervisor may also be required to accompany your employee to the doctor or hospital and drug testing. Final thing is to notify the risk manager of the employee's work status. If you drive for the City of Baytown, we follow the 6-point DOT scoring system for both DOT and non-DOT drivers. What that means is that you cannot accumulate more than 6 points in a 3-year rolling period, or you cannot drive for the city. Most moving violations count as 2 points. All required driving positions will be subject to an annual driving record check. You must notify your supervisor if you are cited for a work-related or personal moving violation. If you have a take-home vehicle, when you're at your residence, the vehicle must be parked in the driveway or the garage. It should not be parked on the street. According to COB policy, employees will not use any tobacco products in the city vehicles. And finally, an employee who has a take-home vehicle will have an assessment as set by the federal government each year added to their taxable income for each day of use. There is no driving while texting. Please limit your calls, pull over if needed, and also use hands-free. If the employee fails to take care of the notice of violation from a toll road enforcement or red light within 60 days, the employee will be disqualified from operating city vehicles and/or equipment until such notice has been resolved. The employee may also be subject to further disciplinary action up to and including termination. If the employee is terminated or leaves employment before the violation is cleared, the amount of the citation will be withheld from their last paycheck. Now let's talk a little bit about the substance abuse policy for the city of Baytown. There are 3 reasons why a person is typically tested. It's pre-employment, reasonable suspicion, or randoms. And if you are selected randomly, you are required to test. Refusal to test will result in immediate termination. And finally, what if you self-identify? A person may self-identify at any time while employed at the city of Baytown. Self-identifying is admitting that you have a drug or alcohol problem. The caveat to that is that a person may not self-identify after being selected for the city's random drug testing program. Should you have any questions, please contact your department safety rep or the risk administrator in the Human Resources Department. Thank you.